Good morning, everyone. It is a day after the Imagination Gala, and we have got loads of Vinylmation news to talk about this week. In case you don't know what the Imagination Gala is, it was a big trade event that took place in Epcot, Walt Disney World. And at the event, they showcased lots of new Vinylmation. They had a display case where they lots of new figures in that we're going to see coming up in the upcoming year. And they also did a presentation where Thomas Scott announced lots of new sets and figures. And generally, we have got lots of stuff to go through. It is quite literally the busiest day of the Vinylmation year. It's the Sunday for us. Yesterday, our site literally got absolutely hit with the amount of people looking at for news. I was doing some live blogging, some information that was coming in from a few different sources. So let's kick things off with lots of new news. But before we kick off, I would like to thank a few people for all the information and all the help that they were sending to me and the rest of the Vinylmation Kingdom team throughout the weekend, because without them sending information through, we wouldn't be able to do it, because we're all off in different locations. For example, I'm here in the UK. So I'd like to thank, first off, our own Erin, who was at the event on Sunday, and she was sending us back lots of images from the show. She was sending back lots of bits and pieces, and she'll be sending back a lot more, hopefully today, so we can catch up with all the information. I'd also like to thank Nick and Brent over at Destination Vinylmation podcast. They were putting up loads of pictures, and they're great guys, and so a big thank you to them. I'd also like to thank DizThroughBrownEyes.com. She was putting up loads of images throughout the entire weekend that we put up on the website, so a big thank you to her. And to everybody else that was sending in pictures, there were some people from Vinylmation Exchange that sent us some pictures, so thank you to them. We also had some people putting some stuff up on our own Facebook group. So like I said, I've got to thank everyone that was at the event, that was sort of putting out pictures on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. It's because of that, everyone like myself who is at home and can't make it to the event, we can all live through them. We can see what they're doing, we can see all the previews, and we can be just as excited about Vinylmation as they can be, even though it's pretty much social media is what's doing that. Without all of this stuff, it would be a lot harder for us all to know what was going on within seconds of them being announced. So like I said, I'd like to thank all of those people for making it possible. Now, like I said, there is a lot of news over this week, so I'm going to try and go through it methodically. There's I don't know how many stories I've put up on the website in the last 3-4 days. It feels like I must have put 50 to 60 different posts up. So if you go up onto VinylmationKingdom.com this week and just go through them all, I will be trying to do it. I'll be doing some catch-up stories and some roundups throughout the week, just to kind of take in everything that we've got. Like I said, so we've found out lots of information, and I think that is where we're going to kick off with. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to just bring up my browser, and I'm going to just literally go through some things here with you guys. Okay, so like I said, we had lots of previews coming from the presentation, but I'm going to go through that in a second. We're just going to go through some of the things that we've discovered in the first few days. So first off, we saw a Beast variant. Now this figure was part of the RSP, and what you could see with this one here is you would get a nice gold variant popcorn mini. I think he looks pretty cool. I love to add him. So like I said, thanks to Sarah Texter for sending me that image. I think that one looks really cool. I think he actually looks cooler than the standard figure, but I love the popcorn series. So that was the popcorn variant. Now this one here, I'm going to not show that one. I'll do that one in a bit. Okay, so Cast Chaser. Alright, so I'm going to show you here. This was what the free gift that all the people that at the events got. I say free, they paid quite a lot for their tickets, so this is why they got it. So thank you to John from V for sending this one through. As you can see, you have Figment, and you also have a junior sort of award. Now that was very much the theme for the whole day. Really was to do that. So there we go. So that was the free gift that everybody got there. Okay, right. There was also some auctions, but we won't worry too much about them at the moment. Right, like I said, there was a lot of new figures put out for display, so let's go through some of these here. Like I said, here we go. So we have, there's going to be two 2015 figures. There's going to be one for Disneyland, and then there's going to be one for Walt Disney World. This is the one for Disneyland. You've got Goofy, sort of done up as Buzz. And then the variant version, they've gone completely different, is the Sorcerer Mickey with the ice cream. So he has a 9 in 10 chance of getting him. They are going to be open edition, so they will be around for a while. I'm not too sure about having the hat and the accessory as the variant, because that is going to maybe make it a little bit too easy for people to find it. I think this one's cool. I'm going to pick up a blind box for this. I like the yearly figures, so that one was a cool one. Okay. So let's see if I can just quickly find. Here we go. This is the other one. This is for the Walt Disney World, and unlike the one over in California, which was Goofy, the one in Walt Disney World is actually going to be Donald Duck. So they got the 2015 in the ears. I think that's pretty cool. I like that. I'm going to pick up both of these, and I'm kind of hoping we maybe get a Disneyland Paris version, because I think that would be cool if we got an exclusive figure over here. So that was fun there. So let's have a look at some other figures that were released. We're going to have the Detour Series number 2. Now this series was put out before, and it was an open edition, sort of open window. They're slightly changing things over, and they are now putting it out as a blind box. So you're going to have 8 different figures. They're going to be out later this year, and also it looks like Anne-Marie is actually doing this one herself as well, one of the new artists who was originally a custom artist. There's also going to be a limited edition Eachez brought out. Well, we're going to go for that one when we get to the talks part. There's going to be a new blind box series that's going to be based on the Mickey's Christmas Carol. Now, it's actually going to be a set of 12, which is something we don't see so often now. Everything's pretty much going down to smaller sets. We have got some more previews, but this is just an earlier one. You can see Donald Duck, Daisy, Mickey, and Minnie. I think this one is really popular. A lot of people love the Christmas Carol movie, like I said, and it's going to be in time for Christmas. It's going to be carried by Disney Stores by the looks of it, so I think that'll be really quite interesting. Personally myself, I'm not too interested in them because I'm trying to avoid buying Christmas themed vinyls, simply just because I end up having too many vinyls underneath the shelf. But I think the design, I like how they've done it. Also being released in September is going to be some popcorn minis. It looks like we're only going to get 3 of them. So we've got Dopey and the variant version, because they're going to be sold in a little blind box. So you can either get the standard Dopey, or you're going to get the variant Dopey with like the diamond goggles. And here we have Tinkerbell, and then the variant version there is like an angry Tinkerbell. And though you can't quite see it there, it's actually there's a Cheshire Cat figure, and that's the variant version there, but unfortunately he fell down. Okay, also Christmas themed, we've got a Tinkerbell Eachez. Now this figure is slightly cool. I think it's always difficult to put females onto the mold. You know, they put it on the mini mode. We've got the red and the green outfit with the twink in their eyes. I think from my point of view, I like this as an idea of a variant, because not only have they just made a change to the face, they've changed the colours, and overall I just think it's a really cool figure. Okay, so let's... that'll be out again in October. Will be priced at $14.95. It's going to be limited release, so what that means is that there's not a limited edition number, so they'll be out for a while. But again, once they've gone, they'll be gone. They won't they won't be back. But usually so far, a lot of the sort of the holiday ones tend to stick around a while. We also saw this twin pack, which features a classic Mickey Mouse and a classic Goofy. It's going to be limited edition size 2,500. It will be released in November and will have a price tag of $29.95. I really like the Mickey Mouse. I think the Mickey Mouse always looks so good on the mold because it's just his shape, and I always like the black and white style, and I think that's really cool. Like I said, guys, remember to you can subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and also comment below with what you guys think you like. Right, so let's have a look here at the Villainous Duos. Now this is a brand new set. There's going to be a load of twin packs. I think there's going to be 5 of these. They're all going to be limited edition size 1,500. This is was it Flotsam and Jetsam from Little Mermaid. The first set was Sin and I Am, and it was part of the RSP items. There's going to be about 4 more packs as well, and we'll go through that when we get it. These guys look pretty cool. I think it looks better than they've got their own figures. And I love the fact that they've got silhouette of the Little Mermaid in the ears there. Okay, so then we're gonna have a look at the Food and Wine Festival Eachez. So if you are a fan of Eachez, you are gonna have a fantastic year ahead. They have announced so many Eachez. It's unbelievable. It really is one of those really successful brands that have come out, and I think Eachez have really caught on the idea of having a single figure, popping it in a little mystery box, and then having that variant edition makes things so much better for people. So let's just now have a look at this Food and Wine Festival Eachez. So here we've got the chef from Little Mermaid. I love the Sebastian in the ear, which is the variant version. And I just think he looks really cool. He's going to be out in October. He has a limited edition size of 2,500, which is quite high. But when you add the variants editions, it can speed things up. It will probably sell out pretty quick. The Food and Wine Festival is very popular. I've been the last 2 years. I won't be going this year, but I always think it's a great little thing, and I'm going to be trying to pick this up. I love the hat accessory. I think he's really cool. So he's on my shopping list for the following year. We've also going to have a new Animation 5 twin pack featuring Tarzan and Jane. It will be out in January. It's got a limited edition size of 1,500 and priced at $29.95. So as you can see here, you got Tarzan and Jane. Now I think this is cool. We previously saw a unreleased Tarzan figure at last year's event. Now we actually got the figure itself. I think this is the first time we've seen Tarzan on a vinyl. I think he looks really cool. I like the fact they've gone with the twin pack, and he just looks really decent. I think he's going to be very popular. I think this is going to be a popular set. With all the problems sometimes they have with the Tarzan license, it can be a little bit tricky. So let's have a look here. So we're going to have a look here at the Festival of the Masters 2014. Okay, so let's just have a look at this one. So as you can see here, it is limited edition size 1,500. It's going to be out in November and priced at $16.95. What is interesting with this one is that essentially we have got a bit of an odd thing here, because it's basically the Festival of Masters this year has been cancelled because they're doing some adjustments to the downtown Disney area. So the event isn't happening, but it still looks like they're going to be putting out the Eachez anyway. I mean, it's that thing of, if they had them all made up for the event and then it got cancelled, is it better that they get put out for sale than just literally disposed of? I think they basically must have made these up in advance to make sure they had something there. So that's a little bit funny that we've basically got a Vinylmation for an event that's been cancelled. But I think it's a cool little figure, and I think anyone that's an artist will love it. Okay, so let's carry on with that. Okay, so another display that came out was... Right, so there we go. So that was all the displays from that one. So now let's just kick back over. So other news that come out, we had this blue prototype tailspin that John found in the trade box. I'm sure over the next coming days we'll find out a lot more little figures like this coming out. Right, we also had a brand new figure released on the Sunday, which was the award ceremony Clarice. Now this was another Eachez. It was LE1000. As you can see here, you had the pale version as the common, and then you have the black version as the variants. They do love their variants, and there we go. There's the figure itself. Now I'm a big Chip and Dale fan. Personally, for this figure, I don't really even remember the character ever in any of the Chip and Dale cartoons, so this one was quite a surprise for me. Again, it's very cutesy. I think girls are going to love it. I know she's quite a popular character in, I think, Japan, and she also pops up in Disneyland Paris. But it was one of the... I don't recall her being a major part of... She wasn't in Rescue Rangers anyway. And also, as you can see here, they also released a Figment Eachez. It was the... They were limited edition 500. You could only buy the one of them. Then you had the clear version. Ever since we saw this Figment on eBay, we all pretty much knew that this figure was going to come eventually. But it was nice that they put it out here. It doesn't look like there's going to be any more events taking place this year. That was a few of the things that we heard from people at the event, which is a bit disappointing. We saw all these Eachez on eBay, but we haven't had enough events for them all to be released. Hence why they released 3 at the Imagination Gala. Okay, so here we go. So this is a look at the... If you went to the Vinylmation breakfast, which was just before the event, what you would get is you would be given a free gift. Again, I say free gift, it's included in the price of your ticket, so that you are paying there to be there. So you got this Minnie Mouse figure. She's again dressed up like she's at an award. So that's been the sort of the theme for this year, was sort of the award ceremony. So that was what a lot of the figures were based around, was going out to an award. So it was either, they were in a fancy dress, in a tuxedo, or a gold award. So that was the theme. It kind of has been a bit hit and miss. Some people have liked it, some people haven't. Personally, I like the gold ones more than I like just them dressed up in a thing. I'm kind of maybe getting to the point with some of the figures where there's only so many different outfits I can see sort of the figures in before you start going, okay. And and especially this year, we're going to see a lot of that. So let's just get back to some of the new news. Okay, so this is a look at the Cast Chasers. Now what this is they put a load of figures into the boxes. There's trade boxes there that people can go in, and there's lots of rares and chasers and stuff. And what we ended up with was a chaser featuring we've got Chip and Dale, and there's a sort of a blue tuxedo one, and there's also an orange version of each. Well, I had a better picture on there, but that will be coming up there. And there were some auctions, but I'm not going to be worrying too much about them at the minute. Okay, so there we go. So that was a look at what figures were sort of came out at the event that we could get hold of. And also, we could see. Now, they did put out some more pictures, some more sort of displays after the live show, where they put out and explain stuff. I haven't yet had those images sent through to me, so I can't see them just yet. I have seen them, but I'm just waiting on them to come through before I do another big update to Vinylmation Kingdom. I was up to about midnight last night, updating with dozens and dozens of stories, and eventually got to the point if I had to have a cut-off point before getting up to go to work. So I'll be doing that over the next day or two, just continuing to add up. I'll be adding more stories to just clarify everything that we've found out from the event and have everything in a nice little bundle. But as I said, Thomas Scott did a talk where he discussed all the new figures coming out. My overall sort of feeling on what we've seen is, again, we're going to have a lot of Eachez, lots of twin packs. We're going to have quite a lot of blind box series as expected. Most of them are going to be the 8-pack, sort of 8 figures. There's going to be a few exceptions, Christmas Carol and probably Star Wars, but then it's all going to be that size. No 9 inches were announced. again, which is slightly a shame. And we know quite a lot, but if you love your Eachez, you're going to be good. If you aren't a fan of that sort of style, it's going to make things a little bit more tricky. Okay, so let's just go back in here. I'm just going to have a quick look, see if we've got any questions from anybody on our Facebook group, and see if we've got any questions from Twitter. As I said, this is the second time we've been doing this show. It will be available as an audio version as well. Okay, so that's cool. Okay, there we go. Right, okay, so I've just brought up the information here. So there was a lot of information coming out, and as you can see, we had a lot. I mean, it was surprising me how we got off. So we're going to kick off with a series we've known already about, which was the Big Hero 6. It's the big Disney movie coming out in the fall. We originally saw them at the San Diego Comic-Con. Here they were on the presentation slides. So here we've got Hero and Baymax. I think that's Honey Lemon. I'm not too sure of the other figures yet. These ones here. I'm not too familiar with the movie just yet. They're going to be in Disney stores. I kind of looking here. Hero and Baymax are going to be the figures I'll probably want. Even though I haven't seen the figures yet, I think they're going to be the ones. So it's a bit like Frozen and any other movie that when you don't really know about the characters yet, it's a bit hard to be sort of connected to them. But again, they look pretty cool. So let's now go back and look at a few more figures. So here we go. So here is the Detour 2. I mentioned these earlier. Now, to me, the thing is with the Detour is they've kind of gone down the line of the Urban series. They didn't make any mention of the Detour of Urban series. And I think this is kind of the replacement for the Urban series. What they've done is, as you can see here, this is the Eachez. So you've got the black version and the variant is the mini. Pretty cool. It's again, this is all very urbanish. It's all very, let's stick Mickey Mouse on different styles and do things a bit different. I think it works. I think this is going to be quite popular with people. I think by taking what worked with the sort of urban and then mixing it with Disney, because there's been no non-Disney sets. There was no urban and no like Cutesters or anything like that announced. Everything is Disney at this series, other than one set, but I'll talk about that in a bit later on. Right, so also announced at the event we have a D23 Chernenberg Eachez. So the D23 Expo will be returning in 2015, be out in the summer around August, and it's also the 75th anniversary of Fantasia. So that was the Eachez for him. I think he's pretty cool. I do like the character. I always think he's pretty cool. So I'm going to see if I can try and get hold of this one. I think we'll expect a lot more sort of D23 figures, but I don't know if we'll see as many as we saw at last year's event, because in all honesty, so many of them ended up going to the outlets, they sort of seem to miss them. Right, now this is quite exciting for people that are fans of the 101 Dalmatians. They are going to be bringing out a brand new 8-piece blind box series in 2015. So you can see here, this is the artwork design. So we've got Cruella de Vil, and we've got plenty of Dalmatians. Now personally, going to have a Dalmatian set, having 4 dogs in it makes total sense. So there we go. I know some people are excited about them. I'm going to be honest, having already seen a Cruella de Vil figure and already have a few of the Dalmatians, I must admit it's not one of the sets I'm that sort of excited about. It's quite safe, but for Disney fans and 101 Dalmatian fans, it's going to be popular. So I think it's a nice good set. Now here we have something that I am interested in. It's the Park Stars Disneyland 60th anniversary. Now this is a sort of, you got the bride and the pirate from the first. But what they've done is, apparently, originally we thought they were black and white, but Erin sent me a message overnight saying that these are actually sort of slightly blue, and they've got like diamonds, and it's all around the 60th anniversary. Now, I love Park Stars. I think they're fantastic. I was hoping that we might see Park Stars 4, but it looks like we might maybe not going to be getting them next year, which is a disappointment. I love them. But this set, for me, is something I'd like to get. And as I said, with the 60th anniversary, I'm not sure we needed the third figure for the skeleton and for the bride. It does seem a little bit over the top. It would have been nice to have had some new figures, but they are representing the Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, I mentioned earlier these Villainous Duos twin packs. There's actually going to be 5 of them released, starting out in November. They're going to be released sort of individually. So we've got these two here, the Tooth and the Little Mermaid. They're all going to be limited edition 1500, priced at $29.95. And then we have Pain and Panic from Hercules. That's going to be out in November. Okay, so here's the pictures from the show. So here we've got a Anastasia and Giselle set. Did I say Giselle? I think something like that. Not too sure on that one. And then we finally have Jafar and Igo. I think the Jafar set is going to be the most popular of these. I think that one's going to be really good. I think this one might end up going to outlets. Not too sure on that one. I think that's the weakest one in my opinion. But remember, you can comment below and on our Facebook page and give your own feedback. I'm going to be doing a special hits and misses this weekend where everyone can send in their views on what they like, what they didn't like, and just, that's what is good. So we're just waiting for this to load up. So another series which got brought out is going to be the Mickey's and Friends Pirates of the Caribbean Reveal and Conceal. So you're going to have Mickey Mouse on top as the combo topper, and then underneath you have 4 figures. It's going to be Pluto, Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck, and Stitch. So this is similar to what we saw with the Haunted Mansion and Friends, and also the Topperies. So it is a bit expensive if you want all of them, because it's going to cost a bit to get them. I really like Stitch. I think he looks really cool. Donald Duck again, though he kind of looks a little bit, from this angle, a bit too similar to the 2015 one. Mickey Mouse looks great. I love the fact they put Pluto and he's got the keys in his mouth, which is exactly like out of the ride. So that's a series I am excited about. Okay, so there we're going. Like I said, there was so many things that we found out. I'm just going to go through the next page. We found out lots more yet. But as I said, remember you can subscribe to the channel and you can hit the thumbs up if you liked it. And we're going to be trying to do these webcasts whenever we can. I'm not going to sort of put out that there'll be a weekly one, because sometimes there isn't enough Vinylmation news to warrant it. But they are going to be semi-regular, I hope. Maybe fortnightly. We're just working at the schedule. But with this Imagination Gala, I thought there was enough. There was so much stuff. It would be a lot of fun just to kind of go through and share some thoughts on this. So let's kick back into the website and have a look at some other sets coming out. So here we go. So here we have the Cinderella Vinylmations. These are pretty cool as well. If you're a fan of Cinderella, you're going to love this. It's an 8-piece set. Going to be out in 2015. And here we go. So we have sort of Fairy Godmother, we have Lucifer, dogs, and then we have Cinderella. I like the Cinderella hairpiece, and a few of them are on the mini mode. For me, I'm not a big lover of the Cinderella movie. I already have a Godmother, I already have the cat here. I think this one's going to be really popular. And we've also got her there, sort of in her sort of before she turns into sort of Cinderella. I think it's really cool for people that love Cinderella. It's a bit, like I said, it's a bit safe, but with everyone wants Disney figures, and this is what they're giving us. They're giving us sets with the classic cart things on them. Now, on the similar subject to that, I'm going to quickly just jump up here to another set all on the same lines. So we've got Cinderella, we've got 101 Dalmatians. There is also going to be a Peter Pan series coming out, which is again coming out in 2015. Going to be another 8-piece set, I suspect. So here we go. We can see there's a Peter Pan, and I love the fact you've got Neverland and Tinkerbell in the ears. Really cool set. Don't know too much about it at the time, but that is a cool little thing. What I am quite sort of interested in at this point is we've got 3 classic movies being turned into Vinylmations. So 101 Dalmatians, we've got Peter Pan, and we've got Cinderella. One thing I noticed there was we didn't get any previews of animation at Animation 6. Maybe they're not doing it. Maybe they just decided just to go with full blind sets for each movie. Or it could be that with Animation 5 literally just hitting stores a few weeks ago, they decided that it was still too early and that we might not see them to the end of next year. But it does seem a bit surprising that they've gone for 3 classic movies, and maybe that's the way they're going to go from this point on, is trying to go back and re-go after some different movies from the past. So let's just click back into the browsers and let's have a look. Okay, so I'm going to have a quick discussion about here. They announced during the show that there will be a Park 16 will be coming, and it will be themed around the Disneyland 60th anniversary. What I thought was quite funny here was that it says Park 16. Well, there's also apparently there will be a Park 15 as well, because we just saw Park 14 released. So we have 2 more Park series coming. I'm kind of to me the Park series are 2 of the main things I'm interested in. So while we didn't see any previews, I'm just glad that there's 2 more series coming that I will specifically be looking out for. Right, as I said earlier, there's a lot of Eachez, loads of them. They really have caught the attention of everyone. They were a huge success, and they're going to be coming back. What they're going to be bringing out is they're going to bring out first off this calendar. There's going to be a 2015 Vinylmation calendar. It's all shaped like Mickey, and it looks cool. But what they are also doing is they're going to be bringing out some selected figures from each. And what you'll find there is we're going to have a Valentine's figure, and then we're also going to have a Dublin sort of St. Patrick's Day figure. Okay, so what's interesting again about this is they've been doing it already with sort of bringing out holiday figures. They've been doing it for a long time. You know, we saw the Cupid's Arrow, and we saw the Easter Oswald this year. So it's not entirely surprising that they've continued the Eachez trend. What is cool with this one is obviously the figures represent what you're going to find in the calendar, and then as a variant figure you're going to have a 1 in 10 chance of getting a Minnie Mouse. Now they're a limited edition size 2,500, slightly high, but it's going to appeal to lots of different people. What I do like about this is that essentially we have got, they're kind of tying up a few loose ends, because originally we always used to have we've had that 2013 where we had a different figure every month. They've brought out special figures for different holidays, and I think this is a great way of sort of combining everything into one. I think it's a really cool idea. I really like that Irish St. Patrick's Day one. I think it just looks a cool little figure. And I think this is going to work. I don't know if the LE is a little bit high, but generally with anything to do with a holiday, it makes sense. It makes sense from the point of view of putting it in the parks. So I think that's a really good idea. And I'm probably going to pick up a few, because obviously then you're going to have things like Easter, Independence Day, Halloween and Christmas will probably all fall into the same category. Okay, so let's now carry on. If you're a big fan of the Run Disney, there will be another Eachez again this year. With, as expected, Eachez going to be limited release, so they'll be out throughout the year, because they use them for all of the Run Disney ones, and they just bring out the little medals. So again, variant version is going to be Minnie Mouse. It seems to be a trend this year, is the Minnie Mouse variant for the Mickey, rather than just doing a paint change. Maybe they got wind of the fact that quite a few people weren't happy with just having a color change or a quick change of the eye. Now they pretty much now, for a lot of the Eachez, they're an entirely different figure entirely. Not just a variant, it's a completely different figure. Kind of like, it's not, I've never been too bothered about variants myself. I always viewed them as a optional extra rather than something that you needed. But now they've got down the line of other figures, it's going to make them a lot more popular. Okay, so there we go. So if you are a fan of Gravity Falls, and I think by the looks of it, Thomas Scott is. I haven't watched the show yet, I'll be honest. They've announced an 8-piece blind box series. It's going to be out later in the winter, and also this figures was designed by Kaylee Hicks and Thomas Scott, so it'll be out in December. So as you can see here, we've got a gnome, a pig. I'm not going to say the name. Another Mabel. And they're also going to be releasing this twin pack featuring a Lambie Dance Dipper and a Smile Dip Mabel. I'm sure that means something to somebody. It's just funny because with all this Gravity Falls stuff, Vinylmations coming out, because we've got there's going to be an Eachez for Mabel as well, and we just saw Mabel also in the Animation 5 series. And also there's loads of bits and pieces popping up in the Disney Infinity, but I've never seen the show yet, so I should really try and catch up on that. And another cartoon series that I've been trying to catch up with as well it's a new Mickey Mouse cartoon series. It's going to be coming in March 2015. It's an 8-piece set, and it's based off the new Mickey Mouse cartoon series. So if you haven't checked this out, it's well worth doing. It's a sort of a modern day cartoons, and they've done very differently. So you can see here, you've got Mickey, Minnie, Daisy, and I love this one. This is the figure I want, and it looks so much like the custom that Mike Vitrone did, and it's quite funny. But I love that figure. He's definitely going to be wanting to go into my collection. So that's quite a cool little figure. Right. Okay. Now Marvel fans. So now we're getting into the real sort of the deep bit. Marvel and Star Wars are both kind of being treated as sort of their own separate entity because they've got their own audience, not necessarily within the same Vinylmation collectors. So there's going to be lots out. First off, in December, there's going to be a Ant-Man Eachez. It's going to be Ellie. I can't think of what the number it was. 2,500 and a price of $16.95. So the variant version's got him in his blue outfit. I'm not a huge Ant-Man. It's not been a major character I've been that interested in. There's going to be a new movie coming out. It's got Michael Douglas in it. So I think Ant-Man will be something that will be a lot more popular. I'm gonna get this blind box. I like it. I think anything to do with Marvel is awesome, and I'm a big Marvel fan, specifically of cartoons, which leads us on to the second Eachez, which is the Peter Parker version, which the basic version has him with his Spider-Man sort of costume half across his face. The variant version has no Spider-Man mask on. Ellie 2,500. I can see why they didn't put Peter Parker now in as a chaser or as a figure in the Marvel Series 2. I'm going to pick up a blind box because of it's Marvel and it's Peter Parker and Spider-Man, but I can't say I'm blown away with that figure. There's also going to be an Iron Man and an Iron Patriot twin pack coming, and that'll be coming out in December. I must have missed that picture off here. And there's also going to be a new Avengers themed set. So rather than sort of specifically saying sort of Marvel Series 3, it's Marvel's Avengers, and it's based on the movies. And it's going to be an 8-piece set rather than 12, which I think is cool. Marvel is now a major part of Disney. There is no sort of getting away from it. And I think that's great. I think from Marvel fans like myself, we are going to love sort of having all these different things. And I'm still waiting for my Spider-Man sets to arrive. So I mean, these Marvel ones are quite a distance off, and I think it's a good idea to spread them out. And they're doing the same with the Star Wars, which I'm now going to show you now. So here we go. So we're going to bring up the Star Wars figures. There's quite a lot of Star Wars stuff coming out this year. So we're going to kick off. First off, there is going to be a new Star Wars Series 5 blind box series, and they're going back to the New Hope, which was the original movie. It's going to be coming in May for the Star Wars weekends. We've got a TIE Fighter as one of the guys. I'm kind of hoping that they go down to the 8 set for this. I feel like doing 12 figures, there's a lot of characters, but I really do question why they're going back to the New Hope. You know, we've still got the whole of the prequels, and then we're going to have the new movies coming out. I'm kind of in the middle. I'm getting to the point with some of the Star Wars figures where I'm feeling like, because what they're bringing out here is they've got a Yoda Eachez that's coming out in January, and a Luke Skywalker version also coming out in January. They're both going to be LE 2500, I believe. Yes, and they're going to have. So here we've got Yoda as a ghost one, which I love. I love the ghost variant version. I'd love to have that in my collection. Still haven't managed to get the ghost Obi-Wan. And they have him here. He's training, but he's got his helmet on. Gonna be honest, I think with Yoda and Luke Skywalker, I'm maybe getting a bit sort of. It's like, how many Luke Skywalker figures do I really need? And I really would have loved to have seen something new. For example, I would have even loved a Star Wars Phantom Menace set. You know, okay, there's a lot of hate for Jar Jar Binks, but you know, it would have been cool to have somebody new in it. So I'm slightly disappointed with the Star Wars. I collect all the Star Wars Vinylmations, but I am slightly disappointed that this is a bit too safe. It's not. We could have had so many new characters and something a lot more exciting. Then keep going back to the sort of the same old figures. But what they have done as well is they're going to be bringing out a new junior series, which is going to be Star Wars Troopers, 12 figures, and I think they are out as well later this year. They are out, in December 2014. John Hettemeyer put out this picture here of the figures themselves. They look pretty cool. I think we always loved the fact of having droids. I think what's kind of interesting is this figure, and these two figures here have already been on the 3-inch mode. So I think this could even be one of the TIE Pilot that we saw in the new series. So if you're a fan of juniors, this would be good. Again, it looks like they've taken off the key ring element, and I like the fact they've made them smaller. I'll probably pick up a few just for my own keyring, and replace the one I've got at the minute. Now, this was the one figure that actually caught my attention. It's the part of the Star Wars Rebel, and he's the Inquisitor. Now, this is a brand new animated series that's going to be launching soon. And I like this. Even though I haven't seen the cartoon yet, I love the fact that they're jumping into something brand new, something interesting, and doing something sort of a bit different. And that's where I'm more excited. I'm more excited about this figure than pretty much anything else that was announced from the Star Wars stuff, because it's new, fresh, and different. And that's what I think we should see. Okay, and finally, I can't believe this is a very a nice big long episode. So here we have the designer series Vinylmation. So the custom artist Miss Mindy. I'm getting my words all slurred. So there's going to be a designer set number 1. So she's actually managed to go off and design some new figures. If you've not seen her customs, she is very talented. She's got a continued different style, very unique, and they're quite, they had some Maleficents on the show, and I've always liked her style, and this was the one set that we saw previewed at the show that I instantly went, ooh, I like. This is different. This is, I'm looking at the rest of what we saw at the Imagination Gala, and a lot of it is very safe. They are playing it safe. They took a lot of risks before, bringing out stuff that weren't very popular, and they paid for it because it all went to the outlets. And so now they've all tightened everything down. It's all very Disney-fied. It's all very safe. This one sort of designer set is completely different. Apparently other artists are going to have a chance to have a go at this. This slightly falls into the sort of urban side of things. It's different, it's out there. We don't know a lot about it. I love the fact they're giving something to a designer to come away and do something different. Allow them a little bit of flexibility, and also more importantly bringing in some new artists, because we don't there's a lot of the times we see the same sort of artists. They're slowly bringing in some new ones. There's nothing against the current artists, they're all fantastic and their work's great, but it's nice to see something different, nice to see a different take on it. And this designer set at the minute was the one set I am probably the most excited about with the whole of Vinylmation, which has kind of really surprised me. I mean, I would have loved to have one of the Miss Mindy's sort of customs as one of my centerpieces in my collection, but this set is going to be an easier and affordable way of doing it. I am hoping it's very limited edition. I really hope that they don't go too big, keep it small. I would love for this to be like a set that comes out and then it sells out within a few weeks or a month or two and doesn't end up getting reduced. I think it needs to be a short run. There's no point. It has to be a lot smaller than than all the other series, because it's a risk. If it's really popular, then that's great. But I don't know. I just hope they don't overdo it and turn it into a really good series. Right, so there we go. So that was a lot of news. I just thrown absolute bundles at you because there was so much to do. So many new sets. What is quite interesting as an overview, like I said, we've got a lot of Disney stuff. They've really kind of pulled back the reins on anything non-Disney. We know things like Urban Redux, that seems to have kind of the closest we've got now is the Detour. The Cutester stuff seems to have gone off. And anyone that was worried about sort of Vinylmation not having, being quite a slowdown in this year, you don't need to worry. There's a lot of stuff coming out. There's a lot of series. Now, by my sort of reckoning, there was about a dozen-ish blind box series. Now that roughly equates to one a month. And obviously some months you might get two. So I think that's a good idea. And because they've got smaller sets of 8, it does mean that it's a little bit cheaper than when we had the 12s. It's a little bit more approachable. So for me, I think one blind box a month is perfect. That is the perfect amount of stuff that we should see every month. What we saw last month in August was absolutely insane. Throwing so much stuff at us at once was just crazy. We hadn't had a lot for ages, and then they bombarded us, and I think that was a mistake. And so I'm hoping with this, it looks like October and November is going to be a heavy few weeks and months, which is not uncommon. They usually will throw a lot at us around that time because of the holiday season. So that makes a lot of sense. Again, a lot of Eachez, lots of twin packs, no 9 inches, nothing at all, which is, I really would have liked to have seen something. I know a few of them, ended up going to outlets, but they seem to have completely abandoned it for the second year running, which is a shame. And no kind of mention at all of anything like the Haunted Mansion or the the Tower of Terror Eachez set that we saw. I thought we might have seen a lot more of that, but there was nothing showed. I mean, but also it is important to note, everything we've seen here doesn't mean that's all we're going to get in the coming year. We always get new series that aren't announced. This year alone, Ink and Paint, the Animation 5, we had whole loads of sets that weren't originally shown to us at the Reflections of Evil that we did get. So there could be more stuff on the way. But in terms of what we've seen this year from this show, it's going to be a good year for Vinylmation. Lots of stuff coming out, lots of excitement. There's been so much discussions on Twitter and Facebook about what's coming out, what's their favourites. Everyone's got their own view, and that's great. This is what Vinylmation should be. It should be about you having your own collection and your own figures and something that you like. Everyone shouldn't have the same collection. things that appeal to me might not appeal to you, and vice versa. And I think that's great. I'm much more now restricted myself onto park series, and I also like the Marvel and the Star Wars. Everyone has the limited amount of space, so for me, certain sets like Cinderella and 101 Dalmations aren't sets that I can add to my collection. Some of them look good, but I'm having to be a bit more picky. Eachez, on the other hand, are perfect for collectors because you've got the variant chase element, and you've just got an individual figure as well. I think that's some people kind of say they've gone overboard, but to me, when we look back at how many open window figures that used to be stocking up the outlets, they're still there now. They're still there, kind of sort of clogging up shelves. It makes sense to do these little Eachez and get them in and out. There's not too many open window stuff. In terms, I'm slightly disappointed with there's no Park Stars. That was one thing I'm slightly disappointed with. The popcorns, there's only 3 figures that we saw. I love popcorns. I'm just getting to the point of I'm loving them doing something completely different, and that was the one thing that slightly disappointed me, was no Park Stars being announced other than those 2 variants, which I will pick up. But again, over the next coming week, we'll kind of go through stuff a little bit more and try and sort of work out everything that's been going on and all the things of what everyone's excited about. And so Vinylmation Kingdom is going to be very busy this week. We've also got the Disney Infinity 2.0 launching, so there's lots of news going up about that. And we're also planning a relaunch to give it a new look, so that'll be coming at some point soon, so that'll be great. So there's a lot of stuff going on. As I said, the webcast is also going to be available in audio format, and I'll be back soon. I'm not going to particularly say when, but we will be doing another webcast with lots more Vinylmation news. So remember to hit subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and I shall see you guys soon.